Okay, you've seen the title of the video and you're probably thinking I'm mad. And yeah, I'm thinking it too. Although this time, it wasn't solely my idea. The brand Nuzest has challenged me to this one. A half marathon every day for a week. And surprisingly, there wasn't a pub or a pint involved in the shaking hands of this challenge. I'll explain more on Nuzest very shortly, but they're pretty important in today's videos. They're essentially helping me through the week. And I mean a normal working week, typically working between 9 till 5:30. So I'll be trying to cram my workouts in before and after those hours, as I'm sure many of you have to do too. But I'm intrigued to see how my body copes and what happens to it over the course of the week. And I'll be sharing all of that with you, as well as how I manage that training and fatigue through the week.
Now, before you say it, this is not simply an opportunity for me to gloat about how much or how far I can run in a week. I genuinely do not know if I have this challenge in me. And to be honest, I've never run anything of this distance in a week in my life before. Of course, you may be thinking, well, Mark, of course you can do this. You're an ex-pro athlete. This will be easy for you. And yeah, you are right to a degree. I have a lot of latent fitness. It annoys the heck out of people because I'm going to do some crazy things off very little training. I'm sorry. But I do suggest go check out my Strava and you'll see that for the past few years, I have done very little running, or at least very inconsistent. It's horrifically sporadic. And actually, even when I was racing professionally, I typically average around 60 to 75 kilometers of running per week. Hopefully this week, I'm going to be doing around double that in a week. And crucially, all in single runs per day and around my day-to-day working life. So what am I trying to achieve from this? Well, I really don't know how my body's going to hold up, whether I'm going to crumble after a few days, whether I might struggle with a lack of sleep, struggle with my nutrition. Maybe I'll just be useless at my job. I want to document all of this for you, be as open and as transparent as possible. And maybe we all might learn something from this. Maybe there's some good advice in how we recover during the day, or maybe we fuel pre and post run whilst at work, so on and so forth. So I thought I'd start the week by throwing up some baseline stats, and we can follow and track them throughout the course of the week and see how they change, if at all. Okay, day one, and I'm very tired. I decided to do this one first thing in the morning before work. And yeah, well, it's early for me, 6 a.m. I used to be quite a good morning person, but it seems that I struggle these days. I have got up with enough time to literally just whack my shoes on and go. I really couldn't be bothered getting up at like 5 a.m. to have a big breakfast, digest that. It's just not going to happen, and I'm sure many people out there struggle as well. So what I'm going to do this morning is have one of these good green vitality things, just packed full of nutrients, which is just good day to day anyway, but I'm going to have this before the run, and a banana, so something nice and quick and light, get my system, keep me kind of like stocked up. I'm going to take a couple of snacks with me, a gel, cereal bar, because obviously running a long way. I have just taken my HRV, so my heart rate variability. I did it last night as well, and I just thought that might be really interesting to track throughout the week and see how I get on, if it changes at all, if it fluctuates, along with a load of other metrics, obviously. And well, I'm ready to go this morning. Got a head torch because it is dark outside, so you're not going to see much for the first part of my run. But yeah, let's get going. So I've gone for a pretty safe and straightforward route for day one. Literally just out and back on the canal towpath, which more or less 0 meters of elevation. So just making it as easy as possible for myself, and yeah, making sure I don't regret something I do early on. And also, yeah, just keep it to a nice, easy pace. Obviously, the hillier I go, then the slower I'm going to go. And also that means the earlier I have to get up. So don't really fancy that at the moment. So yeah, out and back today, but get to see this lovely sunrise on the canal. Can't really beat that.
back we go. Okay, just taking the turn point, halfway point, heading back home now. Just stopped and paused for a second. Although I'm feeling great, feel good to go, just thought I should probably take some food on. I'm actually still feeling quite full from last night's meal and this morning's stuff. But I am obviously naturally burning through the calories, so I'm trying to keep on top of things. Also, because I'm doing a lot this week, I don't want to regret any silly mistakes early on. So, got some food here. But yeah, I'm gonna crack on. I'm going at a good pace, really happy. About 4:30, 4:45 per kilometre. Hopefully I keep this sort of pace and morale and, I don't know, enjoyment going throughout the whole week. We'll see there. First half marathon done, just in time to jump on first morning, cool, and get a little bit of food in, of course. Whew. Good morning, day 2. I can't believe I'm actually saying this on day 2, but I'm struggling already. Obviously, I'm quite fatigued, my body physically, and like aching from a half marathon yesterday. That's understandable, I can deal with that. My issue is I'm just tired, like really sleep deprived this morning, already on day 2. And I know there's people out there with young families probably going, Mark, you don't understand what tired is. And yeah, hats off to you guys, but I'm not someone that needs to have 8-9 hours every night. I'm pretty good at getting up quite tired, getting on with training early in the morning. But this morning was different. Like, my body was almost just saying to me, like, Mark, you did a half marathon yesterday, you worked all day, didn't stop. I need to sleep, I need to recover and adapt to all that hard work you did yesterday. And I'm really feeling it this morning. Like, I could not get out of bed, have finally got out of bed, and I don't know, I feel like I can close my eyes and fall asleep whilst I'm running. I've gone for flat route this morning, again, on the canal, but the opposite way. Might have to rethink that because already that's getting a bit boring. But I've gone for the easy routes to start off with. Just hope I'm not so tired towards the end of the week.
I'm glad to be back after that run. It is weird though how you can sometimes feel better as a run goes on. Either way, I'm still going to make sure that I get an early night's sleep tonight because, well, I'm going to be in trouble if it carries on this way. But on that note, I thought I'd quickly, before I get on with the working day, just run through some of the things that I'm doing to essentially help me through this week and help me recover. So the first of which is sleep, and clearly I'm not off to a very good start there, but one thing that I have learned from my years of training and racing is that you cannot perform while sleep deprived. So definitely going to be making sure I get more sleep. And the other is just looking after my body, giving it some TLC. Now, I obviously haven't got time for massages this week, given how much work I'm trying to do and also the running on top of that. But I am going to make sure that I do some mobility, some stretching work, even if it's simply just 1 minute per day, that's going to help. And then the other big one is nutrition pre, during and post run. But often this is actually one of the hardest, particularly when we've got so much going on with trying to do a lot of training, maybe multiple sessions per day, in and around our working life, our family, and other commitments. Now, I obviously try to have a very well-balanced diet with plenty of carbohydrates, protein, etc. But sometimes this can be really hard with everything going on. For instance, I've literally just come in from my run. I've got minutes to go until I start my working day. I need something quick, easy, and full of all this good stuff, the proteins, the minerals and nutrients, etc. So I have teamed up with Nuzest for this week, who are a nutrition brand. They're literally giving me a helping hand through this week, keeping me healthy and also helping me to recover as best as possible. So we've got their Good Green Vitality Mix, which is basically a natural daily nutrient boost. It's packed full of fruit, veg, vitamins, minerals, and basically plugging those gaps in my diet, particularly with everything that I'm doing this week. So I'll be having one of these each morning, as well as potentially one also later in the day too. And then we have their Clean Lean Protein, which I have a feeling I'm going to be leaning on quite heavily this week. Again, just providing that extra boost to allow me to repair and recover well during this week. Now, I've always used protein mixes in addition to my diet, simply because I feel that what we're doing as endurance athletes, and particularly as triathletes with multiple sessions per day, is pushing our bodies beyond the norm. So I wanted something quick and easy that I could have in and around my busy working day. And a big bonus to these products is that they are all purely plant-based, which not only sits well with me, but also my stomach. So we don't have any of this heavy sort of sloshing protein mix in our stomach. And we've also got 8 flavors to choose from.
Day 3, you'll notice a big difference to today's half. That's because it's not first thing in the morning for once. Slight change to the schedule for today meant that I didn't need to cram this half in the morning or the evening. I can actually just about squeeze it in midday. I'll tell you what though, that extra couple of hours in bed, oh, godsend. I mean, I just feel so much more refreshed today, ready to go, recharged. Even actually, quite interesting, my HRV has jumped up significantly overnight, by about 10, which is quite big, but I can feel that difference as well. I mean, this isn't to say that you shouldn't train early in the mornings, because I've done that for years, but I think it's just highlighted to me just that importance of recovery when you are really tired and fatigued, sort of listening to your body. And yeah, here I am then, middle of the day. Unfortunately, I am quite tight for time, so I'm having to run this one a little bit faster. Well, I did need to get that done in a short space of time, but I may have got a bit carried away there. That was about 1:28, which is very fast as I should be going, so hopefully that doesn't bite me in the backside later on in the week. Goes to show though, good rest, good night's sleep, what difference it makes. I am just in from the day 4 night shift because I screwed up pretty bad today. By not going out this morning, I have had to cram the half marathon in this evening. I also finished work a bit later than expected. So yeah, I was quite keen to get going rather than running really late into the evening. Hadn't really eaten enough, so I wolfed down a little bit of food just before going out, thinking that was a good idea. Then I ended up with a dodgy tummy whilst I was running, a few unexpected stops. Forgot to take any fuel with me, so then I blew up with about 2 or 3k to go. Not too badly, but enough that I'm now questioning whether I can do the next few days. And here I am back home. I'm getting my recovery in straight away, and Cassie, my partner, has literally just finished work very late, and she suggested a takeaway. Don't do that often, and this is kind of a sign of when you've screwed up with your nutrition, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. Come on, takeaways are pretty good, aren't they? But yeah, I think I also need to find some motivation for the next few days. Maybe invite a friend, or maybe I might give my dad a message and see if he wants to join me for one, because I just need something to get me through these.
Day 5, woo! I don't feel that excited really. I'm really regretting this. I'm struggling today. Now I did get out first thing in the morning, partly because I've got myself in a bit of rut and like sleeping in and not getting up and doing it, but also because today is a bit of a weird one. I'm out filming all day and we are doing all run related content today, and there is a chance, particularly in one of these videos, that I'm going to end up having to run around 10 kilometers in total. And quite hard as well, so I didn't really fancy doing a half marathon first thing and then all that running. So I think I'm going to do it the other way around, do the filming first, see how I get on, and I was trying to do it as pure as possible, straight half marathons, but if I'm really struggling later I may have just to add up all the distance and do whatever's left over.
Day 6, and it's the weekend. You would have thought I'd use the weekend to have a nice line, but no, it is not even 6 o'clock and I'm up to do this half marathon. That's because I have booked in for a tip run, so go get rid of a load of rubbish, obviously because of COVID. You have to do that at the moment. I've got that at 9 o'clock and then we've got a lot on today, so I need to get this half marathon done first thing. Fortunately though, I've got my dad with me to keep me company today, so that should be nice. First bit of company on these half marathons is definitely needed today.
Right, that's it.
In the 2 tunnels? Yeah. Woo. Dad's watch is just recorded halfway point. I've had to run an extra about 1.5 kilometers to get to the same, get that same distance. So yeah, I bank on mine being correct. You've got an old watch. Yeah. But now, yeah, little snack break and then we'll get on our way back. We're actually retracing our footsteps now, but it feels like a new run, doesn't it, Dad?
Definitely does.
one way in the dark and then one way in the light. Right, 6th half marathon done. Thank you, Dad, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for dragging me along.
We've actually finished about 1 kilometre or 2 away from home, but I think we're both quite keen to stop. So 21.1k, boom, and we're walking the rest home. My legs are done, so yeah, really thankful for Dad coming today to keep me going. Well, back from our tip run and into this, making some decking. We've finished that bit up there, but this is the next project with some weary legs. It's gonna be fun. It's the final day, my final half marathon, and I was super pumped to get up today on Sunday and get this half marathon done. But I've done it again. I've got carried away with things today and various jobs around the house and stuff, and it's the end of the day. It's pitch black outside, so another half marathon in the dark at dinner time. So I'm afraid you're not going to get much footage from this one, but yeah, I am really pleased. I'm feeling good. I'm pretty confident I'm going to get this one done. A few people have spotted on Strava that I have been doing this half marathon every day and have suggested, well, you will be quite close to the 100-mile mark for the week. And I've got to be honest, I had thought about that. So that would mean doing around 34k today. And I was up for that, but then I've left it until the end of the day. So may have to leave that one for another time. I'm still super happy that I've managed to do a half marathon every day because I wasn't even sure I could do that originally. So here we go, final half marathon, and then I think we'll sum it all up at the end and I'll let you know kind of what's gone on this week because there's been some interesting bits. It's done, a half marathon every day for a week. Thank you so much for following along with this journey this week. It's been quite a tough one, both physically and mentally, which isn't a surprise at all, but the mental aspect has surprised me more so than ever. That was just the process, getting my head around doing 21.1k each day was
quite tough. You can't just wing that sort of distance. So yeah, I certainly struggled towards the 6th and 7th day of just getting myself out of the door. I've learned a heck of a lot as well, just about myself, and also the importance of HRV. I've always known it's quite important, but just seeing so obviously the impact of bad nutrition or bad night's sleep and how much that impacted on my HRV and my energy levels the following day and how I felt for the subsequent half marathon. So yeah, for anyone out there doing a lot of training, particularly triathletes doing multiple sessions per day, I honestly would really recommend checking out HRV, giving it a little go, having a play with it and seeing how it sort of changes from day to day, because yeah, I've found it very, very important and useful during this week. Also my weight, I tracked that throughout the week. I didn't really see much of a change. It dropped off a tiny bit at one point, but you know, minuscule amounts. That could be down to hydration. So I think I did quite a good job of just fueling myself throughout the week. So there we go, that is 7 days of doing a half marathon every day. I'm pretty pleased to be hanging my shoes up now and getting my recovery shake in, but I think this one deserves an extra recovery shake just to round the week out. So cheers to all of you out there. Thanks so much for following along this week. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. Don't forget to give us a follow over on social media. Check me out on Strava to see these runs that I've done this week, and also give us a subscribe just down below.